Hello my friends, happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining me for another video. I hope you guys really enjoyed the videos that I did with my brother. I had so much fun filming them. He's such a hoot and it seems like you guys really enjoyed having him on. I already knew the comments were coming that he was a handsome guy. I already knew that was coming. I've gotten that my whole life. But I was so thankful to have him on. And I was honestly really impressed. You guys will have to tell me what you thought. I felt like he had a really good nose. I mean, from the size of that schnoz, you would hope that he had a good nose. That's something that him and I have in common. Very distinct feature, right? Today I thought we would have some fun and I wanted to go over my celebrity fragrances with you guys. And I wanted to rank them. I only have 5 here. I don't have that many, to be honest, and I have some on my radar. I definitely have some on my radar, but I don't pick up a lot of them only because, you know, the longevity is not always the best, and sometimes it can be a little generic. But if you guys have any suggestions of celebrity fragrances that you think are absolutely amazing, please let me know in the comments below which ones I absolutely need to try. Because you know that I'm a fragrance addict, so I'm always going to be picking up more and more and more. So without further ado, let's get started with ranking my celebrity fragrances. In the number 5 spot, which is no fault of its own, but this is Lost in Paradise by Sophia Vergara. So I've heard a lot of things about some fragrances by Sophia Vergara, and one of them being, I believe it's Love, don't quote me, smells a lot like Coco Mademoiselle. And interestingly enough, I kind of got a similar, now they're not dupes, they're not terribly similar, but I got a vibe of that with this fragrance. Now I thought by the name Lost in Paradise that it was going to be more of a tropical scent, and I could see this faring well in summer, but to be honest, I think that this is going to be a year-round fragrance. And surprisingly enough, the day that I wore it, I got some good compliments. So it's not to say that it's a bad fragrance by being in the number 5 spot, but it's not necessarily my favorite. The reason that I picked it up is because some of the notes really drew me in, so I'd love to read those for you guys. Give me just a sec. Okay, so it was these top notes that really got me. It's got soursop, nashi pear, and red apple. Kind of interesting, right? And then in the middle notes, we've got lily of the valley, gardenia, and orange blossom. If you guys have watched my videos before, you'll know that I'm slowly warming up to florals with gardenia. Although it's a very classic scent, I've been very, very into it lately. And in the base, we've got patchouli, vanilla, teakwood, and musk. So for good measure, let me give it a smell. I don't care for the opening. It's almost got like a nail polish remover type scent to it. It's a little alcoholic, but you gotta give it a few minutes because as it settles down, you do start to see that red apple in there. If I'm perfectly honest, I'm not sure what soursop smells like. If one of you know, please inform me. What does it smell like? So I most certainly get a sweetness in the opening, but it's not a obnoxious sweetness, it's a really light sweetness. It's a natural sweetness that you would get from the smell of biting into a nice juicy apple or pear. And then as it settles down, you're starting to get that lily of the valley. These florals are really light. They're very fresh and they're not cloying for those people who don't like floral fragrances. Some people are really not into white florals, and I can understand. I really was not into them for a long time. So if you're kind of scared of gardenia, just know that this is very, very lightly floral. And then as I wore this, I noticed that the patchouli luckily did not get dirty on me, and it just dried down to have a nice light woody musk touch. All in all, this is a good everyday type fragrance. I don't think it's necessarily date night or very statement. I think it's just a nice, clean, light floral, fruity, and fresh. But the one thing I'll say is the longevity of this is very poor. I think the day that I wore this, I must have reapplied 4 or 5 times, if I'm honest. But I should preface, I tend to go anosmic to fragrance very quickly. It doesn't matter what it is. I think it's because I have a very, very strong sense of smell. And so my olfactory system tends to get tired a lot quicker than most people. And so although people could smell it on me, I could not smell it on myself. So I'm not always the best judge of character, but honestly, I reapplied this 4 to 5 times that day. So that's my take on Lost in Paradise by Sophia Vergara. Next up, I have M by Mariah Carey. The reason that I picked this up is because I saw a video of Curly Scents where she has those 2 fellows come on. Apologies, I do not know their names off the top of my head. And they were blind smelling female celebrity fragrances and giving them ratings 1 to 10. And both of these guys went nuts for this scent. And let me say something. I definitely don't base my opinion on what other people think, but it was the way that both of them were very passionate about how they felt about this fragrance. They both smelled it and just so immediately were like, oh my God, this is sexy. It's so sexy. Both of them were like, ooh, it kind of smells like a cougar, which I don't know if that means that it kind of smells mature, but I'll give you guys the description, what I thought about this fragrance. Okay, so this one is a little bit more apparently floral than our last one. This last one was a little bit more fruity. Now this one definitely has some interesting notes, so let me read them to you really quick. Off the top, we've got marshmallow and seawater. In the middle notes, we've got tiare flower and gardenia. Again, gardenia, I really like it. And in the base, we have incense, amber, and patchouli. So this one is more apparently floral, but it does have that nice amber incense base that gives it a little bit of depth, a little bit of darkness. And in the notes, I was like, oh my goodness, marshmallow, seawater, like that's very interesting because when I smell it, I do get a mild sweetness from the marshmallow. But I do get a little freshness from the seawater. There's a little bit of like salty sweet action in the beginning. And again, this is a lovely fragrance. I think I like this one better fragrance-wise, just because I can smell that gardenia a little bit more. I really like that note of gardenia. I don't know if it brings back a scent memory for me, but something about it is very familiar and it's very warm and inviting to me. Although at the same token, it's fresh. But I'll say, again, the longevity of this is very poor, so that's why I have it in the number 4 spot. A little bit more sexy than the last one, but alas, if it doesn't perform, it's gonna be the number 4. Next up, in the number 3 spot, we have Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker. And if you guys watch a lot of fragrance videos, I am absolutely certain that you have seen this before. I feel like in every cheapies video I watch, this is really highly regarded. And so of course I had to try it out. I think the theme of this video is a lot of these designer fragrances caught my eye because they had some unusual notes. So this one, like the last 2, has a couple unusual notes that I'd like to read to you guys. So in the top, we have lavender, martini, bergamot, and mandarin orange, as well as palisander rosewood. In the middle notes, we have patchouli, orchid, and narcissus. And in the base, we have musk, woodsy notes, cedar, and white amber. So I was a little bit curious what martini might smell like in a fragrance. So you think martini and you think a little boozy, a little lime. And then you know it has the bergamot, which tends to have a little bit of a lime scent to it. So let me give this one a sniff. So I most definitely get the lavender. So if you're not a fan of lavender, this fragrance is not going to be for you. And I've said this in a previous video, but I'll say it again. I know a lot of people say that lavender tends to read masculine to them, and to me, lavender just smells spa-like. I don't think that it smells masculine, so I can't really relate to that sentiment. But But this one, along with the woodsy notes and the musk, this had a little bit more maturity than I thought as I was watching other videos. I thought this was going to be a spa-like scent and be a little bit more herbaceous. And then when I got it, I realized that the woods play a really dominant note in this fragrance. And so does the patchouli. It's not a particularly heavy, dirty patchouli, but you can definitely smell it in there. And for that fact, it gives it a little bit of maturity, which I was pleasantly surprised because I thought this was going to be kind of a young scent, but I don't think it is. I think that this reads a little bit more mature in a classy way, in an elegant way. So I wouldn't call this fragrance sexy, but I would call it refreshing and refined. In our number 2 spot, we have Cloud by Ariana Grande. Once again, you pretty much have to be living under a rock to not have heard about this in some fragrance reviews before me. A lot of people say that this is a Baccarat Rouge dupe, although I think that's it's a little bit more lactonic and a little bit more coconutty, a little bit more tropical, a little sweeter. So it's definitely different in my opinion, but I see what people are talking about, that the DNA can be a little similar. So the notes on this one are lavender, pear, bergamot, whipped cream, praline, coconut, vanilla orchid, musk, and woody notes. So a little story time with this one. This fragrance is actually what is responsible for getting me interested in fragrance videos to begin with. I had went out with a friend of mine and our waitress was wearing Baccarat Rouge, but I owned this one at the time. And when she walked by, you know, it's not like I was smelling them side by side, so I just got kind of the essence of the fragrance in the air. And I said to her, "Are you wearing Cloud by chance?" And she said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Are you wearing Ariana Grande Cloud perfume?" And she kind of gave me like no, I'm wearing Baccarat Rouge 540 and it's over $300. Like, she let me know how much it cost. I was like, okay, well, I think you got played, honey, because once they're on the body, once they're in the air, they smell very similar. And so I really thought that she was messing with me. And so I went and I started watching videos. And those were the first videos that got me interested in watching. I realized how cathartic I found the videos when people were talking about the memories that they had attached to scents, how they made them feel, what it reminded them of. It gave me very like warm, cozy vibes, just in the way that a lot of people feel about like ASMR. That's how I feel about fragrance videos. So I have a fond attachment to this fragrance. And honestly, it was really hard to decide between this being my number 1 and my next one being the number 1. And I think in actuality, they actually kind of tie, but they are for different occasions. So what I'll say about this one is, I don't personally find the lavender in this one to be very apparent. Certainly not as much it is in Lovely by Sarah Jessica Parker, but it gives it a little bit of freshness in the beginning. And then you've got those really decadent midtones, right? So we've got the whipped cream, the praline, coconut. So those are very, very creamy, very rich, very decadent and gourmand scents, which I definitely smell. But as many people have said, and I agree with, the musk and the woody notes in the base is what ends up lasting the longest in this fragrance. And so if you're not really into kind of unisex fragrance, this actually dries down to have a little bit of a cologne fragrance, which for me is exactly what I love about it. It's gourmand, it's ozonic, and then it dries down to have a woody masculine touch. So for me, this almost grabbed the number 1 spot. Very, very delicious. I got it from my mother-in-law and she absolutely loved it too. And so this is just a fantastic fragrance. And I've seen lately that you can get this at department stores like TJ Maxx, Ross, for like very inexpensive. So if you guys were considering it, I mean, this is worth a $20 splurge. And last but not least, this is a new purchase for me. I just got this Miami Glow by JLo. Now, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy considering I make these fragrance videos, but I've actually never smelled Glow by JLo, like the original that everyone and their mother seems to have, they love, it's been around for so long. But you know, if you watch videos, I am a consumer of the videos as much as I'm a creator of the videos, and so I saw this one over and over. And if I'm honest with you guys, I don't really love summer fragrances. They're just not really, I like winter fragrances, I like dark fragrances, I like heavy fragrances. And so like the fruity, fresh, summertime ones, they're not really my thing. So the notes in this one are passion fruit, coconut, and pink grapefruit, orange blossom, cyclamen, and heliotrope, vanilla, musk, and amber. And I was pleasantly surprised when I first smelled this because I thought this was going to be very tropical smelling. But it's definitely got some brightness in the beginning from that grapefruit. It gives it a little bit of tartness, but it's not too sweet tropical fruits. That's what I don't really like. I don't really like syrupy sweet tropical fruits. And the passion fruit is really balanced out with the floral notes in this. And so you've got orange blossoms like cyclamen and heliotrope. So it's a very light floral fragrance. It's not going to be anything heavy. And then it is really ground down with the vanilla, amber, and musk. So it gives a very warm undertone. And for this, I get a warm, soapy smell. Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't consider this a soapy smell, but to me, when I smell it, I feel like it smells very clean out of the shower, very soapy, and I feel like, yeah, you could wear it in summer, but you could just wear this whenever because it is such a clean fragrance without being aquatic, without being too citrus. It just smells a little soapy to me. And so, like I said, it was very difficult to choose between Ariana Grande Cloud and Miami Glow by JLo. But I think, you know, this one's a bit newer to my collection. I'm excited about it. It's something new and fresh and fun for me. So as of now, it takes a #1 spot. And I forgot to mention, but the reason that these two are sitting at the top is because both of them have good longevity on me. And I know a lot of people say that the Ariana Grande Cloud does not last on them. I don't agree. I feel like both of these lasted really, really well for me. And this one, I can't wait to experience more. I've only worn it 2 or 3 times now. And both times I just felt very, very fresh. It's so nice as like a get out of the shower because it kind of smells like, you know, shower gel, hair products. And so if you're not really into those like clean, fresh fragrances, I don't know if you'll love this, but for me, it was fantastic. So guys, that is all I have for celebrity fragrances. Once again, if you guys can think of any that I absolutely need to add to my collection that are like your all-time favorites, I'm always on the hunt for new fragrances. Like always, always, always. So this is what I've got so far. I only have 5, so put me in the know. Tell me what you know. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video and tune in for my next video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.